Alright, Shalom Akim. I'd like to say Kahalayam, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakah. Double honors the apostles and the others of great Milson and Rubel. And salutations to the Akim around the world, the sincere brothers, constantly pushing this word, feeding the sheep, the hopefully elect, and the wanted, right? John 44 and the wanted. I said I'll go through Deuteronomy 28, because it occurred to me that for all the years I actually doing videos, I never actually did a breakdown on this particular topic itself to actually go through it. And the others always showing you to people around the world that waking up to this truth from all different regions. You understand? And this is also edification. Alright, so I say I will go through it. Deuteronomy 28, right? I'll start from 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And this is exactly what's going to happen even in the kingdom. You understand? This is something that the Lord had proclaimed before, how he would have be if we didn't, do according to his will. And in the kingdom, this would also be established, but in a perfect way, because we wouldn't be transgressing anymore. So we'll always have that blessing. But for now, because of what we do, the state we in right now, we don't have that blessing. You understand? Majority of our people destroyed for lack of knowledge. You understand? Calamities, diseases, all these things, as we were getting to, is what we're going through. Even the men of the Lord had to go through half of these things. You understand? So guys, scripture saying second Esdras is say the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for the wide, right? So we still under these curses until Yahweh shall return. Even though it wouldn't be as bad for us as it would for them, we still have to suffer these things, right? But we're going through the blessings first, right? So the blessings say what? He will set thee on high above all nations on the earth, right? Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. It say, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, right? Which first the children, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kin, right? Of the increase of thy kind, and the flock of thy sheep. It said, blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. Right? It said, the Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee and to be smitten, Salakia, before thy face, and shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. And you'll see these things used to happen with Israel when they was actually doing what the Lord said. Anytime enemies come against them, it could be only 10,000 of them, and the enemies could be 100,000. They'll still lose because the Lord was with them. You understand? Because the nations have their power, but our power is the Lord. That's why scriptures refer to us as one of the weaker nations, because us by ourselves we can't overtake them. But once the Lord was with us, who is our power, you understand, we cannot take down anybody. Say verse 8, the Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee an holy place unto himself, as he had sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy power, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, right? We are called by the name of Yahweh, which is Yasharallah, which is Israel in Hebrew. Yah means he, and Shah means prince, and Allah means power. You understand? He, prince of the power. Right? I'm gonna take a quick detour to talk about another scripture also. Right, that is Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63 verse 18, right? It said, the people of thine holiness had possessed it but a little while, right? Which is like the land of Israel, right? It say, our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. It say, we are thine, thou never bearest rule over them, they were not called by thy name. Because that being called by his name, that was only for Israel. You understand? So only Israel was called by the Lord's name. No other nation ever had that privilege, and no other nation ever will. All right. All right, going back to Deuteronomy, verse 10. I read it over. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, Salakia, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. So you see all these nice blessings that, we would have, and we will have in the kingdom, right? But we don't have them right now. It says, and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy power, which I command thee this day, to observe and to do them, right? And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? Now in verse 15 I reach here. And just the state that we see Israel in right now, we could tell that what? That these curses established on us right now. Because we did exactly what he warned us of. Right? We didn't hearken to do all the things that the Lord commanded us. And that way when I watch people who like to say that you don't need to obey the Lord, all they could do is just shake your head. All they could do is shake your head. You understand? It's in verse 16, right? Let's go through the curses now. Because that was the blessings pertaining to when we actually was in order, doing what the Lord said. In verse 16, it says, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Right? Now you see half of we out there working hard. Hard, working very hard. It said, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. And I go back to where what? We just store up with things. Like, for example, like the banks. These banks is actually a curse unto us. Cause why? They just take our money. The past to begin with the organized laws so that we have to put our money with them. Cause we can't keep our money home or that be against the law, even though it's our money. So we put our money in their first businesses, right? They will lend your money out to somebody else, and you don't receive anything for it. And on the back of that, they want to tell you how to spend your money when they holding it, how much you could withdraw, how much you could withdraw at a time or a week. You understand? If you want to withdraw too much at once, they want to ask you a set of questions, like if it don't belong to you. That is not a curse. Verse 18, it says, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. And you see these children right now, we're walking around here, some little gremlins. You understand? Half of them, they didn't fall in any blessing region. Right? It's a curse shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy hand, of thy land, Slakia, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flock of thy sheep. It's a curse shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. The last thing you want is for the Lord to curse you, because once he pour a curse on you, have nobody that could remove it but him himself. Right? Verse 20, it said, the Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke. Right? In all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed. Now you see I talk about oh, that society like to say, blacks is bring these things upon the self, and they could change the situation if they want to. If the Lord put curses on you, there's nothing that you could do about it. Now every curse mightn't affect every single Jake. You understand? Some might escape from some, but you won't escape from all. Some curses will apply to certain men of Israel or certain people of Israel, based on whichever one the Lord seemed fit upon you. But you can't escape the curses of the Lord. All of these things we must go through in some way because of what it is we did. Right? I read over. It said, the Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Right? I'll pause there. Verse 20. See, the scriptures are the answers. The scriptures will show you the reason why we're in these positions. You see, sometimes we people be trying hard to do something, and you realize for nothing it doesn't work out, and they'll be wondering why it has never worked out, but for all these other people it does work out, because we are not like all those other people. We are different. It said it's Daniel 9. I'll start from Daniel 9. I'll start from 9, right? I'll start from 8. Daniel 9, I'll start from 8. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll start from 8. Daniel 9 verse 8, right? To say, O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, right? And I'll go back to what? Sometimes you might watch a man from Israel, and you can't be able to tell if he's from Israel or not because of the intermingling with the other nations, which is also something that the Lord stated that we wasn't supposed to be doing, right? We wasn't supposed to actually mingle the holy seed, but that is something that we did wherever we went into captivity, and even not in captivity, but whenever we was mingling among them, we used to interbreed with them, when in Deuteronomy 7, from about 4, somewhere about 4, he said that we're not supposed to do that, right? Not supposed to make marriages with them, right? It said, Lord, to us belong a confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee, right? And sometimes, and if they went to the captivity in a certain region, they would intermingle that way also. It said, to the Lord our power belongeth mercies and forgiveness, right? It say, though we have rebelled against him, because why? We didn't follow all these things that he commanded us to do in the blessings. You understand? So we end up falling upon the curses, as I read the blessings earlier. It said, verse 10, it said, neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our power to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants and his servants the prophets, which Moses was one of them. It said, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, right? And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, thy servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against thee. So that is sure the curses of the Lord is a serious thing. The curses of the Lord is a serious thing. And even Daniel spoke about it. Right? Why? Because they were disobedient unto the Lord. They forsake him. And he forsake them. And when scriptures talk about, they say them who is a he say just paraphrasing, I say New Testament, they say, ye are my friend if you do whatsoever I command you. You had to obey the voice of the Lord. You had to do the things that he commanded you to do. And it have blessings if you do, and it have curses if you don't. Right? Say verse 21, it said, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land. It said, whither thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. So you see all the different things that the Lord stated that he would bring against you. And these things didn't just miraculously happen. Or people like to think, well, you know, if you don't serve the Lord, you know, he would just depart from you, and Satan would just happen to come. You understand? No, the Lord has actually sent spirits to do you these things. The Lord have his spirits that he does send to fulfill these curses, to actually do these things to you. So the Lord will bring these things upon you. Right? Let me get that quick. I'll get our scripture quick. Because the scriptures talk about what evil angels. The Lord have spirits that he does use to fulfill these curses. Alright, that is Ecclesiasticus 39 verse 28, right? Ecclesiasticus 39 verse 28. There's the book of Sirach in the Apocrypha. It said there be spirits that are created for vengeance. It say which in their fury lay out sore strokes, right? So there's lay out sore strokes in the fury. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And who is the one that made them? The Most High. You know, there are many other scriptures that give you similar outcomes, but that is just to show you that it's the Lord that is ready to do these things. When things like that happen to you, it's the Lord that send these spirits to do these things to you for a reason. Even though you might always know what the reason is, it does have a reason. And he sent those spirits out to do this to Jake. Why? Because they didn't keep his word. Right? verse 23, right? Deuteronomy 28, verse 23. It say, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. You understand? So you don't have much fruitfulness in that. It said, the Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder, right? And dust from heaven shall it come down unto thee, until thou be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And that is what it happened to us a few times, you know. We were scattered, right? It says, verse 26, it say, and thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, they say, whereof thou canst not be healed. So all these different diseases, you know, examples, he show you that he will actually cause our people to go through. Even incurable diseases. That things incurable that we just had to go through. And our people, like what? Herpes. You understand? It's that things like... It has some real terrible diseases. That incurable. All these diseases and things is what the Lord say he will bring upon us. Alright? It said, verse 28, it said, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. So if the Lord said that you wouldn't prosper in your ways, it had no pastor could tell you to sow a seed and you'll be prosperous. You understand? Majority of our people will be affected by that. It say, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. How you'll see constantly we oppressed in this system. These things is not coincidence. We'll see the government oppressing you, the other nations oppressing you, sometimes your own people oppressing you. Right? It said, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. And this happened plenty in slavery. And even though it mightn't be happening like how it used to happen back then, when the slave master used to rape your wives, it happening even now. Because even one of your own brethren, you got a wife and one of your own brethren lying with her. You understand? Yeah. And another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. People that's had a house is taken away. Sometimes the government just take your house and get it to your wife. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. It said, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from thee, from before thy face, and shall not be restored unto thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Now, you know, modern times, like, these people don't have sheep and oxen and ass literally, but you know, this is to show you that you'll have increase and it'll be taken away from you. It happened more literally back then, and it's happened in similar ways today. You understand? You mightn't actually have a sheep in your backyard and the sheep get taken away, but you know, the concept remains the same. Because all these curses we're going through today in some way. Alright? It say, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, which happened in slavery, the separate families. It happened more back then. You just get kidnappings and things right now. You'd never see a children, your wife again. These things are still happening in some ways. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. You can't do nothing about it. You say the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. Which is what happened. Come here, take we land. Same thing with the natives. And even sometime before that, similar things used to happen. Yeah, which thou knewest not eat up, and thou shalt only and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And this, it is really angry a spirit sometimes. It said, the Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch. Right? It is sore botch that cannot be healed from the sole of thy feet unto the top of thy head. It said, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, it said, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Right? He said, there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Because whenever, there are other times in history also when we wasn't fulfilling these the laws of the Lord and we depart, similar things happen to us, right? Even though it happening to us now, this is not the first time it happened, because Jake. So there's Deuteronomy 17 verse 4, right? It say, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, which is what happened to us at this present time. Because the elders say this is the only time in history that Israel actually wasn't aware of who they were, even though they were in slavery in other places. You understand? There was slavery under many other nations. There wasn't any state that there was now, whereas they don't even know who they are. Because when there was in Egypt being as slaves, they still knew they were Israel. They still knew who their power was. They knew who to cry on to. Now, majority of our people are lost. They don't even know who they are or who their power is. And I'll read that in Psalms also. Right, to say, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, which is the situation majority of people are in now. They don't know who they are, where they came from, how they're supposed to be. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. And how we kindle that anger? By going and doing the things that displeasing to the Lord and serving idol gods. That is why we're going through these curses now. That is why we're in a different land, serving who supposed to serve us. You understand? Yesterday's Psalms 83, right? Salakia. There's Psalms 83, I'll start from 1, right? It say, keep not thou silent, O Yahweh, right? It say, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, right? It say, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, right? And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Now it said them that hate thee. They wasn't talking about Satan and a whole set of angels under the ground who conspiring against the Lord. No, right? Let me see who they're talking about. Say they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Right? It say they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, which is Israel, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now, how to do that is by cutting us off from who we already were. And I'll go back into the time of slavery. When they brought us here as slaves, as we go down further in Deuteronomy, you go see more of that. As they brought us here as slaves, what they did, they reprogrammed the slaves to not know where they originally came from. They told that they came from Africa, which even the land of Africa wasn't even named that back in the day. You understand? They renamed that land. And then they put other people in our land to pretend to be us. You understand? So they cut off the name of Israel, which really represents us. They cut us off from who we really was and how we really supposed to be. So we wouldn't have knowledge of these things anymore. Right? Verse 5, it says, For they have consulted together with one consent, they have confederate against thee. Right? So not only conspire against us, but they conspire against the Lord, because we are the Lord's people. And the scriptures talk about it, say, He that toucheth you, toucheth the apple of his eye. So they didn't just offend us, they offend the Lord also. It says verse 6, it says the tabernacles of Edom, which represents what Esau, which is the so-called white man. Right? You see them, they call his name first. And the Ishmaelites, right, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, right? And when you go down, is a list of a lot of other nations. There's many of them who actually consulted together and conspired against us, to put us into slavery. Because the so-called white man didn't just come and take us from where we was, that other nations who had a part to play in capturing us and giving us up. Right? Let me go back to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 28 verse Deuteronomy 28 verse, I'll start from 35, right? Just say, the Lord shall smite thee. I read already, so like, 36. It said, the Lord shall bring thee and thy kings, which thou shalt set over thee. I read this already too. Unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, which is what happened to us right now, right? A nation from far. Let us say that we didn't actually know the nation, but a strange nation unto us. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone, which is what it is doing in this place. That it serve things like the obelisk, which is one of those ancient Egyptian pagan symbols that serve the statue of Mary or Tammuz and many other different idols in this place. Even the gods of the Hindus and so forth. Right? Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword, which is why it is called a nigger. You understand? And all these other bywords that they call us. Among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. And it have that even in Acts. When you go in Acts, I believe it's 13:1. They used to call them Niger, which is another byword that they used to call our people among the nations. Right? In the New Testament. Verse 38, it said, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards, and dress them, but shall never drink of the wine, nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. So thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coasts, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olives shall cast his fruit. It said, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity, which is what happened to us, right? Verse 42. All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is with that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Which is why you'll see in this country here, it have a lot of other heathen nations that's come between us, and they just rise. The Moabites, you understand? The so-called Chinese, they just come here and build a store, build all kind of big buildings, groceries, and we who was born here, you understand? It can't hard to even open up a parlor. It's not just a matter of how hard it is work. You understand? These are curses that the Lord put upon them. These curses, people is underestimate how strong the curses of the Lord is. You could even sometimes you could even be trying towards something and you realize it will never work out. And somebody from another nation trying it and it just happening for them. Because the Lord put curses on you. So no matter what you set your hand forth to try to accomplish it, it wouldn't go how you would like it to go. Because you is the one under them curses. Right? Say it say he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Them is the one who own the banks. Them is the one we just go and borrow money from. We can't lend them money. They is the ones who lend us money. They just take our money. They don't borrow our money. Say he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail, which is what's going on right now. It say, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which I command thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. The Lord say that this will be a sign upon you. That is to show that what? That you is one of those people who rebel against the Lord. That way you see these things that usually happen to a particular group. You understand? It doesn't happen to everybody. You know, they like to talk about they like to say blacks always like to act like victims, and they like to act like these things only happen to them. You understand? The Negroes, not Latinos and natives, them is the ones that the Lord put these curses upon. You understand? The nation of Israel itself. And he put that on them, and he said it will be a sign unto them, a sign and a wonder upon them. So when people watch them going through these things, through the prophecies, you'll know that they are those people. You understand? Verse 47 it say, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. So they didn't just happen to come against us. Whenever we wasn't doing what the Lord said, and we were serving other gods and not keeping his commandments, he used to send these nations against us, which is how we came here to the Caribbean. He sent them against us. It didn't just happen, oh sure, Israel Day, we should go and, no, the Lord stirred up the heart to come against us. Right? You see verse 48, I read it over. It said, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in the want of all things. Which is how we came here also. We came here in hunger, in thirst, with no clothes on, in nakedness. And even now, half the things we own, we just buy it from them. How much of us is actually make our own clothes? You know, we don't have the resources to do these things. And to even be able to get those resources, we gotta get permission from our slave masters. We can't just go and open schools and open businesses. We had to get approval. Let us show that we still in captivity. Right? Right, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. When you look at that yoke of iron, you understand? Especially the ones that used to have a long time with the long spikes coming out of it. So when these slaves try to run through the forest to escape the plantation, they will get hooked up on the trees. How much nations that ever happened to? You understand? That was a sign onto a particular group of people to show who those curses really pertain to. The nation of Israel, 12 tribes of Israel. And it happened to many tribes. Right? Verse 49, it said, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. Right? Because they came from what, the north. It say, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. I say as swift as the eagle flieth. When you look at the emblem, the coat of arms of the Americans and the Romans, what it is an eagle. You understand? All these things are spiritual. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Because when we came here, we were speaking Hebrew. They programmed us to speak English. And in certain places, like the Latino tribes, they programmed them to speak Spanish and so forth. But we couldn't really understand what they were saying. They had translators who used to relate certain things and so forth. But we couldn't understand those people. Let us show you the scriptures don't lie. Right? It say, verse 50, it say, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Because they used to lynch the men, they used to rape them, they used to rape the women, they used to feed the children to alligators. They didn't respect nobody, old or young. They didn't even show remorse to the children. Right? And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee neither corn, wine, nor oil, nor the increase of thy kine, or flock of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And that is really true, because why? This devil is want everything that we have. Everything that we have, he wants control over it. You understand? In some way. He even want to control us directly by putting that chip in us. Everything that we have, he wants. He leave nothing. He don't leave nothing for you. He didn't want to leave yourself for you. Verse 52, it says, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, right? Which the Lord thy power had given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, which is something that happened to us a little more in the past. You understand? Because there are times when like around when Jerusalem was being besieged, that people who was eating their own children because they had nothing to eat. You'll see stories like that in what Kings. I think it's second Kings 6 in later verses, with the two women who one of them boils his son, and they eat the child. Right? These things did happen to us. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power shall give thee in the siege. Right? And in the straightness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. You know, my spirit telling me to go to that story, so I'll go read that little part quick what I was talking about, to show that that curse also did actually happen to us. Now let's show you the curses of the Lord serious. And in some way, all these curses was established. Whether it have been more back then than now, or what, but we went through all of them in some way. Right? It says 2 Kings 6. I'll start from Alright, I'll start from 24, right? 2 Kings 6, I'll start from 24. It said, it came to pass after this, that Bene Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they, they besieged it, right? Until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. So the head of an ass was sold for 80 pieces of silver. And the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So even dove's dung representing feces. You understand? This is what was being sold at expensive prices. First, it had nothing to eat, right? And as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help, my lord, O king. And he said, If the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee? You understand? The Lord ain't helping you. How you want me to help you? But this was around times when, Israel, there wasn't in order. And when there wasn't in order, what would happen? The Lord would send nations against them to besiege them, just as it says here, right? People just get tied up with how serious the Lord is. The Lord is very merciful, but at the same time, He's not somebody to get upset. People just forget that, right? Right. You say, when shall I help thee? You say, out of the barn floor, or out of the wine press. You're being sarcastic. I don't have nothing. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. You understand? So the woman tells she ever going on. Two are we hungry? Two are we at children? Let me eat your son today, and let me eat my son tomorrow. Now, mind you, me, a baby is plenty. A baby is a real big sizer. So, especially a healthy child, a real big sizer. They eat a whole child that day. Right? Verse 29. It says, So we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her, On the next day, give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hid her son. Right? So the woman deceived she. So the woman set she up so to eat her son. But when the other day comes, she hid hers. So, because she wasn't going and kill she own child. But our next woman, simple. Like plenty of them. Verse 30. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman that he rent his clothes. And he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. Because he was mourning for the kind of suffering the people was going through. But they're sure these things did happen to us, right? I'll read it over. Deuteronomy 28 verse 53. It say, And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy body, of thine own body, right? The flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power hath given thee in the siege, right? And because there was what besieged, right? It say, and in the straitness wherein thine enemies shall distress thee, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, right? His eyes shall be evil towards his brother. And now you'll see even now, Jakes, you'll be walking on the road and Jakes will be watching you cut eye for no reason. You ain't do them nothing. You never once tell them nothing bad. And they always had that kind of anger towards you for no reason. You understand? Because that the curses. Right? Sometimes you go even be doing something for a tutor, and you'll be real normal about it, and you're doing something for a brother, and you find you're hearing voices whispering in your ears, "Wow, is right true?" Like, yo, you understand? That spirits that is be causing these things. Because that the curses of Israel. You understand? Your eye being evil towards your brother. These are things if a man spiritually minded, he gonna know how to deal with it. But this is the curses. These are curses that upon all of Israel. Right? It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards his wife, and and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. And now you'll see even like now you'll see even these when it comes to like broken households, you know, like households that actually don't have mothers and fathers in them. Majority of those type of households be what our people, Jakes, you know, Negroes, Hispanics, you know, natives. Is usually all people. When you look at our family structures, is how those kind of things. When you have one parent, majority of the time the father left or the mother left. You understand? Like curses. It says verse 55. It says so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, which did happen, because he had nothing left in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Now, like I say, back then these things used to happen more literal, but in these days that it still happen, but in similar ways. It mightn't be the exact way. Right? It said that verse 56, it said that the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set her sole of her feet upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil towards her husband. But you'll see that I say these days the so-called black woman is one of your greatest enemies. You understand? That because of what the curse is. Because she either be evil towards us, but she either be evil towards the people who actually have she in slavery in the first place. You understand? These other nations. If they get with a so-called white man, they'll just be like a little lamb. But to us, they want to point your hand in your face. You ain't shit, nigga. You understand? Like curses. Because I evil towards you. Right? Right. Her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and towards her sons, and towards her daughters. And their eyes be very evil towards the children in many different ways. But they be teaching them to be wicked, or you know, just treating them very terribly. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gate. And thou wilt, if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? It said, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful. And it said, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and long continuance, Salakia. It said, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Verse 61. It say also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of the law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. So you say even diseases that wasn't even mentioned in the scriptures, the Lord will bring upon you. That we got things like AIDS now. We got things like syphilis. We got things like Ebola, you know, dengue, chicken, all these diseases that the Lord caused these things. Whether he did it through Esau or he did it naturally to form somewhere is the Lord that doing these things, because they're the curses he bringing upon us. Right? Verse 62. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy power. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you. You understand? And to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. So you'll see all of our people always dying, constantly murders. If we ain't killing ourselves, they're killing us with pharmaceuticals, they're killing us with, just shooting us down on the streets, killing us with all these GMOs, many different ways they're killing us out. As fast as we come, sometimes as fast as we just go. Right? Verse 64, it says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Which is what example of that is what we're here now. The land of America, you understand, the mother of whores. There's so much different gods and beliefs and faiths over in that land that our people just follow. Spaghetti monster, some of them in Freemasonry, some of them does worship, the idols in them Catholic churches, which are not actually how the Most High or his son does look, or even his mother used to look, but they just worship those things. Right? And many other varieties. All of these things are what the Lord said would happen. Verse 65 it say, and among these nations shall thou find no ease. That song familiar? It said, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there and trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind, which is what men in the truth does go through, who have wisdom to understand what is really going on. That is what is how to go through every day. Other people go through this too, knowing the truth, but they don't have knowledge to actually understand what it is really going on. Like how the scriptures say, oppression make it a wise man mad, because a wise man will be aware of what is going on. He will be aware he being oppressed, and he go understand they shit. Right? But this is what we had to go through. Verse 66 it say, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. It say, in the morning thou shalt say with power, it were evening. At that evening thou shalt say with power, it were morning. You understand? So in the night your wishing is morning, and in the morning your wishing is night. For the fear of thine hearts wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. Alright, I want to get our next scripture quick. I almost finished it. I reached verse 67. It's Jeremiah. I believe it's Jeremiah 5. Jeremiah 5 verse, I think it's 19. Right. Jeremiah 5 verse 19 it say, and it shall come to pass when ye shall say, it say, wherefore doth the Lord our power all these things unto us? Okay, people love to ask these things when they teach them the curses. They like to ask yourself, so why the Lord doing these things to us? Why we had to go through these things? People love to ask that. It said, then shalt thou answer them like as ye have forsaken me, which also always go back to what? To doing what the Lord say, being obedient unto the Lord, all these different things. But we didn't do that. We didn't delight in the things that the Lord wanted us to do. You understand? We forsook the Lord, his ways and his ordinances, all these things, and served other gods. It said, like as ye have forsaken me and served strange gods in your land, because that's what I was doing it in our land, so shall ye serve strangers in a land that is not yours. And that is an example of where we are now. We're in a land that is not ours, serving strangers. And strangers go back to what? People who are not of Israel. You understand? Let's show you how the word of the Lord is perfect. And let's show you that the Lord don't play. The Lord don't play. When the Lord speak against you, when the Lord speak against you, you have a problem. That way you always have to try to stay on the Lord good side. Always try to do the things that pleasing to him. Because the Lord don't play. He don't. He's very merciful, but the scripture also refers to him as a terrible power. He don't play. When you look at all the things that happened just through slavery, you came here naked, tied up, shitting on yourself, peeing on yourself, you couldn't move. Some of us were thrown over the ship. Others jumped over because they didn't want to deal with what it is they had to deal with. When they reached here, they was lynched. You understand? Some of them was lynched. They used to put us in sweat boxes, they used to torture us. They used to rape our wives. They used to, when those pregnant, cut open the belly, feed the children to alligators. They used to tie us to horses, split us into four. You understand? They would tie us 4 ways, 2 arms and 2 legs to 4 different horses, and split you apart. They would rape you. As a man, they would rape you. All of these things that the Lord brought upon us. So you also have to remember the mercies of the Lord, but you also have to understand the terror of the Lord. The Lord is not somebody to play with. Right? So the last verse in Deuteronomy, verse 68, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Right? Now, scriptures say, I read it again, it said, the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So this wasn't something that just happened to us. This is something that the Lord said he would do to us. Right? He said into Egypt again. Now, when we went to Egypt the first time, we went what? Walking. Because we was welcomed into Egypt back then by Pharaoh. Right? We didn't go into Egypt the first time by ships. It was walking distance. You see, this is Revelation. There's Revelations 11 verse 8, right? Revelations 11 verse 8. It say, and their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. You understand? It say which spiritually is called what? Sodom and Egypt. Because spiritually, this kingdom we in now, which is the modern day Roman Empire, right? Spiritually is called what? Egypt and Sodom. So you see how it say he'll bring us into Egypt again. The Egypt he was talking about wasn't that Egypt where there was the first time. It was spiritual Egypt, right? On ships when we came here on the slave trade, right? When some came to the islands, some went to America, Haiti, and different other regions, right? That way we went into slavery on ships. That's how we know through this prophecy who those people really are, because that was a sign upon those people, and it never happened to anybody else, not the way it happened to us. Right? I'll read it over. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, in the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there shall ye be sold unto your enemies, which we were sold. When we read in the Psalms, it say thy enemies make a tumult. And who was our enemies in the list? It say Edom, Moab, all of these different nations. We were sold to them, mainly Esau, right? And there he shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. No, it said no man shall buy you. That don't mean that it wasn't trading us, for money, but no man shall actually be able to buy us, as in to take us out of where it is we was in. Because even though we mightn't be in the same exact situation we was back in the day, where there was actually lynching and all that kind of stuff, we still captives now. We still here as captives. We still subjected unto their laws. They can still do us what they feel like, give us what they feel like, feeding us. We still under captivity. You understand? And nobody hasn't been able to redeem us out of that. But the Lord will redeem us out of it in time to come. And that is what we wait for. You understand? Okay, scriptures say what? I will not meet thee as a man. Because when he come to buy us out of it, he wouldn't be a man. You understand? He'll be a consuming fire. But I was just going through the Deuteronomy 28. I say I'd go through it because I don't think I ever made a video about it before. There's so much brothers all around the world who mightn't have really go through the breakdown before, new brothers especially. I said I'd go through it. You never know who could end up seeing it, for edification's sake. With that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that pushed us through to the four corners of the earth. Right, there's your Abba from the GMS Trinidad East Camp saying Shalom, Akim, stay strong.